When you hear the word cray, what do you think about? Crazy, nuts, freak, maniac, ludicrous, cray. What comes to your mind?
Soft kidding, warm kidding, little Wallet.
When people think of you, is that what they think of? Crazy? Cray? Nuts? So there was a guy in biblical times. Jesus Christ came to him, and to the people in the village he was known as Cray, as nuts, as crazy. It's in Matthew chapter 5. And it starts off like this. I'm going to paraphrase, and it starts off that Jesus came and they crossed the sea and they come into this village, into this area. And the minute Jesus steps on the shore, this man comes out after him, yelling at him. But it just wasn't like some crazy guy that came up. First of all, the guy lived in the tombs in the cemetery. They used to chain him down, and they used to try to chain him down. So he came out and he busts out this and he comes running toward Jesus and yelling at him. And he's naked and he's got chains on his arms from when they tried to chain him down. But for whatever reason, he broke through the chains. And so here he comes, just shackles and pieces. No one in the city had the strength to subdue him, to stop him, to control him. No one did. So they just kind of let him run wild like a wild man. So he lived in the cemetery, in the tombs, in the catacombs, naked, with chains. What was awfully funny is when he came out, he started screaming at Jesus, and you're thinking, okay, this guy's nuts. He's probably profane. He's probably cussing and cursing at Jesus right now, but he doesn't. He actually runs up. And it says, "What have you to do with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I adjure you by God, do not torment me." Jesus was saying to him, "Come out of the man, you unclean spirit." And Jesus asked him, "What is your name?" And he replied, "Come to find out, this man is demon-possessed." And the demon refers back, and so many times the scripture in this passage, this is what we kind of sit on, says, "My name is Legion, for we are many." And he begged him earnestly not to send them out of him, saying, "Send us into those pigs. Let us enter them." Ironically, they just didn't naturally do this. This isn't some episode of Supernatural where the demon can just do what they want. I mean, they're face to face with Jesus Christ, the Creator God. And it says, Scripture says, "And Jesus gave them permission to enter the pigs. And the unclean spirits came out, and they entered the pigs, and the herd, numbering about 2,000, rushed down the steep bank into the sea and were drowned in the sea." At that point, the herdsman, the guys watching probably this whole thing, ran into the city. And usually that's the part where we stop on. You know, we like to look at, wow, Jesus just had so much power. But there's more to this story than just that. The man that was demon-possessed, that everyone in the city was scared of, afraid of, they tried to chain him up, he couldn't do it. Something happened. Something happened. It says, in right here, it says, "And the herdsmen fled and told it in the city and in the country. And people came to see what had happened. And they came to Jesus and saw the demon-possessed man, the one who had the legion, sitting there, clothed and in his right mind. And they were afraid. And those who had seen it described to them what had happened to the demon-possessed man and to the pigs." Check this out. "And they began to beg Jesus to depart from their region." This week, things have changed in your life. Here's a guy, and the whole town was afraid of him, scared to death of him. He was demon-possessed, out of control, ran around naked. But yet, Jesus Christ came, cast out the demons, healed him completely, And when people saw him, they asked Jesus to leave. They physically saw the change so much in this guy's life, it scared them, and they told Jesus to go. How drastic is the life change going to be when you get back home? How real is it going to be? Is it going to be so drastic that people that knew you before, it's going to scare them? They're going to think you're crazy. They may want nothing to do with you. Check the last part of this scripture out, the last part of this passage. And it says, as Jesus was getting into the boat, the man who was possessed with demons begged him that he might be with him. And Jesus did not permit him to go, saying, go home to your friends and tell them how much the Lord has done for you and how he has had mercy on you. Check this out. And he, the man, the demon-possessed man, went away and began to proclaim in Decapolis how much Jesus had done for him, and everyone marveled. See, there's two parts to this story. There's what everybody sees, and they see a major change in this guy's life, and then there's what he says. See, his actions and his words all of a sudden came together. And when they came together, people marveled. And that is when they will choose to follow Jesus. If they just see your actions or if they just hear your words, they're going to be scared. They're going to think you're nuts. You're crazy. You're cray. But when it all comes together, when your actions of your life and your words match up, or the words that you've been speaking, maybe you've been speaking them before this week, but all of a sudden you realize your actions don't match your words and you need to get that right. When that happens, people won't seek after you. They'll seek after what you have. And to the world, that's crazy. That's cray.